founder of Karri, has famously said that the relationship between human intelligence and artificial intelligence is one of symbiosis. The challenge and potential of exploring this co-evolutionary future is the biggest story of the next century. With this thought, we welcome you to Metric Talks, a series by MetricDust. The topic of today's webinar is AI and ethics, the impact of generative AI across domains. My name is Anjali Kumari, and I have Ramya R with me as my co-host. We are delighted to be your host for this enriching and enlightening session. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from a panel of distinguished women who are spearheading digital transformation and growth in their respective domains and have agreed to grace our event as speakers. We are also joined by Lakshmi, our co-founder, who will serve as a moderator and interact with our esteemed panel throughout the session. Before we dive into our discussions, I'd like to go over a few guidelines for today's webinar. We will start with the panel discussion, discussing the current advancements, challenges, and future potential of AI technology. Following the discussion, we will then open the floor for a Q&A session. We encourage you to actively participate in the Q&A session. You can submit your questions at any time using chat option on your screen. We will do our best to address as many questions as possible, or else they will be addressed later. If you have any technical difficulties during the webinar, please use the chat feature to reach out to a support team, and they can assist you promptly. I will now hand over to Ramya to present our domains and the panelists. Over to you, Ramya.
Thanks, Anjali. Hello, everyone. I am Ramya. To set the context, artificial intelligence, or AI, has rapidly evolved from a futuristic concept to a ubiquitous force driving innovation across multiple sectors. From healthcare to finance and retail to manufacturing, AI is reshaping the way we live and work. The domains that we'll be focusing upon today's webinar are FMCG, healthcare, brand and marketing, and BFSI. We are incredibly honored to have with us a group of esteemed experts who are at the forefront of innovation and transformation in their respective fields. They bring a wealth of knowledge, experience, and insights that will shed light on the transformative power of AI. We would like to formally introduce our panel before beginning the session. For FMCG, we have Mrs. Sri Lakshmi, currently working as the Group Chief Information Officer for the Switz Group. She has over 18 years of extensive experience in data, business intelligence, AI, and more. She is involved providing effective solutions in data analytics and AI in banking, retail, and corporate business. Speaking for healthcare is Ms. Usha Rengaraju, founder of Neuro AI, India's first ever research symposium at the interface of neuroscience and data science. She ranked among the top 10 data scientists in 2020 and is the world's first female triple Kaggle grandmaster. She is a renowned polymath specializing in deep learning, generative AI, tiger graph, and probabilistic graphical models. On behalf of brand and marketing, we have Mrs. Reet, Sibia, currently Vice President at CriticalRiver. She also served as the Senior Director of Global Marketing at the same organization. Her expertise lies in building organizational ecosystems to deliver higher customer experience and tighten alignment with sales. Taking up BFSI, we have our esteemed panel, Ms. Shilpa Prakash and Mrs. Manasa Karri with us. Mrs. Manasa Karri is a Senior Insights Analyst at Bank of New Zealand. She is a subject matter expert in credit card payment and rewards technologies. She also has a cumulative experience of 2 decades working in variety of analytics use cases like recommendation engines, customer call classification, credit and risk management. And our last panelist, Ms. Shilpa Prakash, the Director of Data and AI at HSO. She has around 21-year-long and illustrious career in predictive analytics, data science, and artificial intelligence. She enjoys ideation, planning, and execution of solutions on AI and analytics, keeping in mind long-term technical strategies for products and platforms. Now, I would like to hand over to Lakshmi.
So thanks, Anjali and Ramya, for spectacularly introducing the first talk of Metric Talks from MetricDust. And thanks to our amazing panel who joined me on such a short notice. I would to start off this discussion of the panel by thanking all of your support and presence today. Without further ado, let's dive deep into the deep waters of AI and its impacts on various domains. So to kick off this discussion today, I would like to ask, it mainly pertains to FMCG. I would like to ask Sri Lakshmi, like, how do you think AI can be utilized for the quality control, ensuring product consistency in FMCG manufacturing, and any ethical considerations to be undertaken? Over to you, Sri Lakshmi.
So let me pick up the ethical part of it first, because I know that's been the one which has been most talked, discussed, and debated about. Because it has, though AI always existed in a form of what we used to call as statistics, it has taken a different name today. Yeah, because of the surge in usage and adoption. There was no time to put in governance and control around it. There is where we are struggling. Probably the industry grew much faster than what it was anticipated, and we are now going back to see what is the ethical way of doing, not doing. So I think a lot of cognizance in every individual who is endorsing AI, using AI, and building AI need to have this is their primary and fundamental responsibility to ensure that the biases is not introduced into the model, and whatever we are doing, we are ethically right. It's like a moral responsibility given the times is what I would say, than a technical or any other responsibility. So having said that, I know every organization is working to come up with the governance, especially my past industry where I was in banking for a very long time in my entire career, probably all my career. I've just recently moved to FMCG about a year back. I know how the financial industry is thriving towards having a lot of policy and governance around using AI. It may be as simple as whether you are approving a credit card based on the nationality, or you are rejecting a credit card based on the nationality, because you see a certain segment of nationality of customers are prone to doing frauds. Now, though the data says that, but if you go by what the data says and go ahead implement that kind of a model just to reject an application based on the nationality, that's what is an unethical use of an AI, which you are using for your own advantage. Whereas if you use the same input and ask for additional due diligence, additional documents, or additional verification, which is fine and the right way of doing. So it completely depends upon how the output of an AI is being perceived and used and put at play for your advantage. What makes it ethical and non-ethical? Moving on to the uses of AI in FMCG, there are plenty of opportunities. Entire value chain of food industry. There is an opportunity everywhere, right from buying, where you are buying the raw materials, to having the end product come out. Right from smart procurement practices, taking the external data. Example, if your partner is telling you, let's say we use a lot of fats and sugars and flour in the food industry. Let's say if this is the price your partner is offering, you can do an external data scraping and see, does that price match the industry price? What is the price where you can get it for cheaper, and things like that. So that kind of intelligence, right from predicting what you can use and how you can buy, towards the end packaging. I'll give you the live example of something that we're currently working on. Is we're using AI to come up, or at least give us some references of packaging. When we do this 1+1 offers or 2+1 offers, we want to ensure the packaging is in a way that it is not taking additional shelf space in the stores, because for us you have to pay for the shelf spaces in some of the places. So we are exploring how effectively AI can recommend to us maybe the packaging ideas we may not have thought about. That's an idea, that's a use case where you've just asked how is it helping in marketing. So there are multiple other, see, being in the food industry, the responsibility of everyone is to ensure the food wastage, is being managed, because there are still those people on the globe who thrive, you starve every day for food. And we have the moral responsibility of ensuring the food is not wasted. So the food wastage, minimization of stales, ensuring the shelf life is taken care, products are not thrown away, all this, there is a lot of application of AI. And even on our lines of manufacturing, whether it is a small cupcake versus a cake or a bread or anything, as simple as doing the metal detection, whether there are any parts of metals in the products, or looking at the quality, the acceptable shape, acceptable weight. This is all, the AI is being used. And I'm surprised when I walked into our manufacturing units for the first time, and I saw, though the industry never said AI, but this kind of small technology with regards to visual detection of the shapes, the sizes, the dimensions of the product was already embedded, and people were using it. Probably right now what we are doing is we are connecting that part of information that goes into the each production lines with the data lakes, and showing it to our supervisors that in your shift X number of products were produced, Y number of ingredients were used, this is the productivity of this supervisors versus another supervisor. We're working on it, but there are countries where this is very, very much a norm, and they're already doing it. So what really matters is, in the madness of AI, it is very much required to be grounded for every leader, grounded to the reality of, if Gen AI is the norm, do you have a use case? Do you have a problem to solve? What I have been seeing in the industry is people are creating a problem for a solution. Yeah. Because I want to do a Gen AI use case, let me create a problem. And I have seen that a lot. And there is where I think we are getting derailed in terms of the effective usages of the technology and the talent and the people around. And I think this is for every leader out there who are in empowerment of identifying use cases and applying technology, is always to have the basics right, have a good team in place, who have the skills, have a good number of partners around with you, who can support you in the journey, identify your basic set of problems that needs to be solved before you jump onto the wagon of doing anything that are irrelevant. The same happened during the big data days. Everybody said big data, big data, big data. Then, I know there were industries and partners who did buy the stack and never used it, probably didn't even use it 20% of the capability of the platform. But in AI, it's about the use cases, it's about the APIs and things like that. But I think you need to identify a good problem, a good partner or internal talent to have the real value delivered, not just doing it for the tick in the box. That's my
adding to your point. Yeah, adding to your points, Lakshmi, I would say, like, I emphasize the same point, mindset of the organization and digital adoption of AI, starting from designing till maintenance. So that has to be inculcated when we develop any AI products.
See, the mindset is, again, there are leaders and there are managements who may understand everything, or you may only be aware of what is happening. So there is a difference being aware of something and being knowing something and actually having done something, and there is where it is becoming very difficult. That previously, I'll give you an example, when people wanted to implement data warehouses, it was so difficult to get approvals for funding, for even for putting a small MIS team of 2 people. We used to struggle back then in having approvals. Now the moment you put AI, like probably 10 times here and there, you get an approval. But are you using it for the right purpose? Do you have a problem statement? Did you show the AI? Were you ethical in doing it? I think that checks and balances needs to be in place to ensure we are achieving what we are actually heading towards. And definitely mindset shift is required. But I think everybody knows AI now. We don't have to struggle to change mindsets.
Thank you. So, Usha, this is our next area of interest of AI in healthcare. So, Usha, we all know the society is progressing towards further of digital realm, a sensitive area of interest in AI in healthcare, out of many would be neuroscience. So in your opinion, how you might see AI as revolutionizing and understand and treat autism the next decade, and also the ethical considerations you can just put some light upon?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Lakshmi, and for asking me, making me part of this panel, and specifically asking me this question. So you know how what AI for autism means for me as well. And so this AI, in the intersection of AI and autism, we have like plenty of use cases. So I would like to highlight 4 of the use cases which I have like personally highlighted as well. Personally like created a prototype. And famous football player like the Lionel Messi, all of these people are diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, which is actually autism on the higher end of the spectrum. And so this can be done using AI. So there's a research from Stanford which has come out that, you know, using MRI scans of the, you know, when the child is in the mother's womb itself, you can diagnose, you know, whether the child has a higher probability of autism or not using the biomarkers in the MRI scan. So this is a computer vision problem. And so this is a, if you can diagnose that early, then there's a higher probability of early intervention, and you can, give the child a regular independent life. And so the second use case is about autistic kids. For example, my advocacy is on the higher end of the spectrum. I advocate for children and adults in the higher end of autism spectrum. So these are individuals who have had regular schools, who have gone to regular schools and who have finished their graduation and who still have difficulties, in the social communication and stuff. So one of the major blockers for autistic people to, be employed in the corporate world or to fit into the society is autistic individuals have difficulty understanding emotions in multiple modalities. It can be they have difficulty understanding facial emotions. They have difficulty understanding emotions in text. They have difficulty understanding emotions in voice. So the non-autistic counterparts for them will communicate a lot through body language. So, and for them, the problem is they don't understand body language. They don't understand emotions, which is being described in facial expressions, because they don't understand facial emotions at all. And if an autistic, non-autistic boss is sending an autistic employee, like, a mail with filled with sarcasm and all that, there is a high probability the child or the individual will not understand sarcasm, jokes, and nothing of that sort, because they take the literal representation of text. This is where the 3 use cases like emotion detection in multiple modalities can be solved by using AI. So autistic people can do their jobs instead of like straining themselves and struggling themselves to understand emotions. So we have AI for facial emotion detection, which is a straightforward computer vision problem. We have AffectNet data set, which can be used for facial emotion detection. And there are plenty of state-of-the-art models which has come up as well. And for emotion detection in text, we have Go Emotions data set. And it's any of the text classification models can be used. Even LLMs can be used as well. And for emotion detection in voice or speech, we have Raptors data set, and there are plenty of state-of-the-art architecture for sound emotion detection. So I've implemented all the 4 use cases. So anybody who's watching this can head on to my GitHub repository. I'll also share the link in the comments. You will have the repository name starting with AI for autism. I've used LLMs for the second use case, and I've used like all of these benchmark data sets which I had mentioned, and I've implemented certain architectures from the scratch as well. So outside of this, there are plenty of use cases in the intersection of neuroscience and AI. And I would definitely recommend, all of them who are looking for internships or who are looking to get their hands dirty in data science, you can pick up these real world use cases, which might create a huge impact. First thing, you're creating an awareness by touching of these use cases. Every time you go and present in a conference, you're creating awareness for the cost. And second thing, you're also building a strong portfolio. So yeah, with this, I will, wind up my answer for this question. And thank you so much, Lakshmi, once again for asking this question. Yeah.
Thank you, Usha. These were quite an enlightening and critical insights on AI and ethical implications surrounding neuroscience. And now shifting on our focus to another critical domain where AI is making a significant impact in today's world, marketing. So from predicting customer behavior to optimizing ad expenditure, marketing analytics is at the forefront, targeting and efficient marketing efforts using AI. Delving deeper into this fascinating topic, I would request Reet, who has made significant impact on this area. So hi Reet.
Hello. Hi, Lakshmi. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, MetricDust, for this very, very insightful session. It was great listening to Usha. Thank you so much. So, yes, as you said, marketing is one domain where I feel that we were the people who adopted AI with open hands, right? And we've been using, even in my function today, we've been using AI quite a bit. Uh, and like you said, customer segmentation, yes, but I would think that for the entire marketing function, AI has a bit of it, and it has increased a lot of efficiency for us. Like, I mean, it has really hit the roof. A single person in my team who was doing only one job is actually now able to expand his or her domain. I mean, we're doing cross domain as well thanks to AI. But like you said, you specifically asked for customer segmentation. I will start with that. So successful customer, when does a successful customer, excuse me, segmentation happens? It happens when we have many meaningful insights and they are bucketed accordingly, right? So today AI algorithms can segment customers on many factors. Let it be a behavior, demographics, psychographics. So what does it help? It helps us to do personalized marketing for them. But the game changer here in customer segmentation is in the form of predictive analytics, right? As Usha also said, that if you can predict faster, right, the intervention can help a lot. Similarly, in marketing, if you have predictive analytics, the data that we have, historical data, it can actually predict the future customer behavior and the trends. So we are actually ahead of the curve. We are actually predicting that this is how the customer behavior is. So I think it is a game changer for marketers. And how it helps, because we know what the customer behavior is, we do a dynamic content generation. AI tools today can have personalized content for different customer segments. What does it help? It ensures, how does it help us, the companies? It ensures relevance, it ensures engagement, right? And I think another big thing that is actually guiding us, what to consume, is the recommendation system that comes out of it, right? Today, I mean, if I'm watching a Netflix, I pretty much see what the Netflix is recommending me. And in a way, I have given that power to Netflix to guide, okay, what is the kind of media I'm consuming. So recommendation systems is something that's a big plus for the marketing community. Another thing that you will see today is the chatbots. Earlier, the chatbots were very mechanical. I mean, you would not really get a lot of customer support. But today, they are improving the customer satisfaction. You have around the clock customer, they can handle around the clock customer inquiries, right? You have a natural language processing, NLP, right? It can be more accurate. So it has increased the customer experience by many folds. And another clear winner for marketing function because of this customer segmentation and personalization is again ad targeting. So as a person who is also responsible for the growth of the organization, right? My ad targeting is spot on. It's more effective. It's real time. And the tools help me do the A/B testing in real time. So I'm sending an advertisement, and they're like, no, this is not doing well. This is the ad they're doing, and they change it. It doesn't need a human intervention if we have the proper data fed in. And of course, you have these personalized emails. The social media management is great. You do a sentiment analysis through social media. You know what you're doing right. You know where you need to improve, right? So all of that is great through the social media management. Your posting and monitoring is, of course, now automated. That's like the low-hanging fruit. Another thing that I think for the coming generation, AI is helping the marketing is visual and voice research. Now, if you see the little ones, right, they don't even want to type, right? They want to have, they want to kind of, give a voice search. They just want to press a button. We are getting a little lazy as well, but that's what it is, right? So, voice activated devices are another thing, or voice activating tools on your website and your other e-commerce sites is, I think, a great addition for the times to come. Then you have a great market research. Earlier we would do a primary research, a secondary research, but today the kind of research that we are able to do in a day versus say a 15 to 20 days earlier, I mean, you can see the difference, right? uh, there's a clear pattern of customer preferences. You can make so many pivots, you can make so many dashboards, and it is a clear and it's a clarity in like few seconds, right? Sales forecasting is another thing that marketing can help. But now coming to something which has been a forerunner is content creation and curation. That has really helped us rethink what we were dishing out to our customers. And since it's also about ethics, the entire session, I'm also going to talk about few of the pitfalls for this particular thing. We have automated content generation, right? You can generate articles, post content, you can do videos, you can have voiceovers, you can have your avatars, all the valuable material that would take a lot of time to create. Now you can create in matter of minutes to couple of hours. But there are a lot of pitfalls, when you're using this content creation. First is quality and accuracy, right? It should not have outdated information. It should not have factual inaccuracies, right? So that is one pitfall that you should be very careful. Second is the bias. See, AI models, they can amplify bias. They see, okay, there is this voice around this thing, right? So they amplify it. So it could be a little bit of an unfair content. So that is another pitfall you should be. Then of course there's lack of originality, the kind of the repetitiveness and lack of creativity you can see, right? Then the biggest is the ethical concern, right? You have deep fakes now, you have misinformation at the power of, I would say 100. And sometimes we also see there are a lot of copyright laws which they infringe. So that is another thing. And where I feel that humans need to use these AI tools is context understanding, right? A lot of times the tools do not understand the context, where that's where the human intelligence comes to, right? Irrelevant, inappropriate content can begin. Then another very practical thing that, using this content and this curation could be your SEO and ranking. So you will see all the search engines will start penalizing these AI generated content, because especially if it's of low quality. So one has to be very careful what they're putting out there. If it is very heavily AI generated, you will be penalized, and your the purpose of doing that content really will have no meaning. Then you have to see the data quality, because it takes all the responses from the data that's available. So if the quality of the data is not up to the mark, of course, it will not give you a meaningful thing. Law and regulatory issues are another thing that we have to be very, very careful. So I think that's all I would like to put in here. So, but I feel the integration into marketing strategy, the speed of evolving that we see, it's made a marketing function very sophisticated and very effective. Thank you, Lakshmi.
Thanks, Reet. That I think it is indeed customer experience optimization is revolutionized by AI. And also
Yeah.
thank you a lot for putting the stimulating insights into marketing analytics.
Thank you.
And yes, moving on to the next most profound transformations in this digi age in banking. So financial services and insurance, BFSI domain. So trying here, AI and analytics is not just enhancing customer interactions, but it is crucial for managing risk, detecting fraud, and improving overall operational efficiency. Trying to further understand and these exciting developments, Manasa, how do you think AI is being used to enhance credit and risk management, and also regulatory compliance in banking?
Thank you, Lakshmi, first of all, for asking a good question and also for inviting me with all the esteemed panel. So traditionally, banking has been like a very change aversive and risk aversive industry. And with major organizations like JP Morgan spearheading the AI revolution with their AI first strategies, many banks have started adopting AI for their operations. And banks handle highly sensitive and confidential customer data. And with the adoption of AI, there is an increased risk of data exposure and also potential breaches. This may lead to hefty fines and financial losses, along with some reputational damage as well to the organizations. And another problem I see is with the accuracy and reliability of these models. Though there are risks involved, because of the AI's capability to process and analyze vast amounts of data and uncover patterns, many banks have been empowered with this information to take more informed decisions and also venture into new territories with more confidence. Let me illustrate this with few examples here. I would like to bring in JP Morgan again. So JP Morgan has created an AI-driven credit scoring model by utilizing some non-traditional parameters like your rental history and your utility bill payments and also your social media behavior, along with income and credit history, which were traditionally used as parameters for calculations of your credit risk. So by leveraging this, they have significantly reduced the risk of defaults and also expanded their customer base to the previously underserved customers. The next area I wanted to talk about is regulatory compliance. As you have asked, it is like a major challenge for most of the financial institutions because it is an ever-changing domain. You will get new regulations every day from the authorities. And recently, AI has been used to summarize these regulatory changes and also identify any areas wherever there are adjustments required. So I will cite an example of HSBC, which has adopted AI to monitor the transactions on a regular basis to identify any non-compliance with the anti-money laundering regulations. The last area I wanted to quote today is fraud detection. As we all know, AI has transformed the fraud detection space because it has of its ability to process the huge amounts of data and transactions very rapidly, and also to identify the anomalies or like any fraud with minimal false positives. One of the major European banks has created an advanced AI model for their fraud detection, and this has helped them to significantly reduce their operational risk and also increase their efficiencies. So AI is a double-edged sword. It's like we have to carefully consider all the risks involved and mitigate them even before adoption in a space like banking. But considering that banking is a highly regulated industry, we can anticipate that there may be some guidelines coming up for the ethical implementation of AI. And I'm eagerly looking forward for all the innovation that is set to happen in banking. And once again, thank you, Lakshmi, for asking the question.
Thank you, Manasa, for wonderful insights. And continuing on the same line of thought, today we have Shilpa Prakash, who has excellent experience on BFSI domain, in specific mortgages and loan documentation system. Hi, Shilpa.
Hi, Lakshmi, and thank you for this opportunity
Hi,
to
Shilpa.
speak for MetricDust and be the panel.
Great, Shilpa. Thank you. So, Shilpa, in your opinion, can small and medium-sized financial institutions leverage AI to compete with larger players in loan processing? You can even talk about mortgages, taking as an example, or document classification, anything.
Yeah. Primarily, I'm going to take example of mortgages. That's where my experience has been. So when Manasa was talking about business process operations, improving business process operations, document processing becomes a prima facie requirement where you can use AI. AI can be easily adopted for enhancing document processing, and currently there has been a great challenge with respect to the accuracy because it's a very laborious process, it's a very manual process. So it's been a great challenge and time consuming activity to process documents. And when it comes to KYC, when it comes to loan origination, everything starting from the lease life cycle, starting from lead generation to loan closure, as well as after that, after the sales monitoring, there's a lot of documents that the industry works with. So I have worked with mid-sized lending firms where they have used AI, and now with Gen AI in the picture, definitely it is much more feasible and scalable, as well as the accuracy is also good when it comes to, I would say that it is better than the current business process that is going on.
Any ethical considerations do you think, Shilpa, on this to
Yeah.
consider document?
Yes, compared to retail, generally AI adoption in BFSI, healthcare generally takes a little bit of a drawback because of the ethical consideration. And quite recently, no AI solution should be deployed unless there is an ethical consideration that is there. Banking, especially, again, Manasa was talking about, there are biases in the data. Okay, data privacy is an issue. While everybody is talking about centralizing the data so that we can generate insights across the siloed departments, right? We need data from finance team, we need data from marketing team, sales team, we need from the processing team, and they're talking about bringing all these data together. But when I've worked with larger organization with scale also, sometimes they say that, hey, one department do not want to share the data with the other department, right? Because it is a privacy issue. So there are new techniques that is coming up to eliminate biases, to solve this privacy issue. I had an opportunity to work on a federated learning framework. Like I said, while everybody talks about centralizing the data so that the data can be available for all, there is a framework where we say that, we are going to build models and insights on encrypted data. Okay, so AI engineering itself becomes one activity where BFSI can consider when it comes to privacy issues. And of course, there are a lot of bias mitigation strategies these days, and adopting these strategies is a must. And whenever we are talking about predictive analytics, making inferences, right? Again, Manasa was talking about adding parameters, which is not very straightforward. For example, we are looking at a rental history. Right. So all of these plus making inferences from these parameters gives us a holistic approach, and also a promise that the accuracy is reliable.
Great, Shilpa. Thanks for your wonderful insights.
Thanks,
think if yes, Lakshmi is already on the panel. She's a bit late, but probably she would join before I can take up further few question and Q&A answers. And thank you all for your valuable thoughts. We have fascinating discussion so far. Moving further, let's do our next part of the event, Q&A. So we have already received several questions, and I heartily encourage you to keep them coming in. And I'll kind of pick few questions thinking time consideration. And one second, I'll just look at the questions. Yeah. First question I think I've received on is EduTech. How do you think the current generation and the organizations of EduTech department or an organization domain especially, ethical considerations have to be considered, and how this Gen AI has to be adopted? Anyone can take up from the panel. Usha, would you like to?
Yeah. So for generative AI, I think there are a lot of industries. Since I work closely with academia, so today I'm in Pune, giving about a faculty. I mean, the next 2 weeks. I mean, the next week also I'll be in Pune, and this entire week I was in Pune. So VIT group of institutions in Pune, I think it's one of the top colleges here. So I've been training like 150 faculties here. And so for there's already a plenty of collaborations between industry and academia. But for some of the interesting things which I was hearing from the head of department of several departments, like there are departments like electronics and instrumentations. So there are plenty of Gen AI use cases. What was traditionally done using statistical methods and even traditional machine learning to an extent might take a lot of time to solve a certain use cases. With Gen AI can have a quick turnover. For example, something which was used to so defect detection in instruments specifically, it might, even if you use statistical techniques or traditional machine learning, it might take you somewhere about a month to solve the problem. And the sensor data collection is a very tedious process as well. With Gen AI and especially with the vision language models which we have at our disposal, we have a lot of vision language models which we has come out, like we have IDFX, OWL VIT, we have Polygemma from Google, and there are a lot of interesting vision language models which has come from Microsoft as well. So with all these vision language models at our disposal, like defect detections in departments like electronics and instrumentations becomes easier. So what used to traditionally take 1 to 3 months can be done using Gen AI with just 1 or 2 days, or it can be even brought to like within 2-3 hours. So some of the interesting collaborations which I saw was NVIDIA has already set up a lab in the university. So there's a lot of industry academia collaborations happening, and but it has to happen in a more in a way which is profitable for both the stakeholders involved. A lot of university professors that told me like, see, we do the same job as a consultancy firms, but since because we are part of the university and they don't pay us at all. And we so that shouldn't be the case, because if you're getting your work done, whether it's from university or a consulting firm, if your work is getting done, the company should consider paying, because there's a lot of effort involved in getting the projects done, and all of this is outside the work aside designated to the professor, so it's outside of that thing. So it should work in a way which is working out both for the academia and the industry. So the industry should also consider paying the academic professors if they are like giving out projects to them. Right now, it is like only the top universities, the IITs, IIScs have got funded projects from the governments. And there are other universities also, like outside of the IITs, who have got funded projects, but the majority of them don't get funded projects. And so there's a lot of interesting talent out there. So a lot of students reach out to me saying they don't have projects. They're doing second year, third year. This year, especially, I've received messages from a lot of IIT students also. They're like not getting placed in internships. More than 30-40% of the people have not got placed in internships. So there's a lot of very talented people out there not having job. So there can be something done about it. And we have a lot of generative AI problems to be solved for the country, for the industry. There is no end to the kind of problems which we have. So we have talent on one side and we have a lot of problems on the other side. So we must come up with certain way to, connect this talent pool with the industries who can make the better use of them. And the other collaboration which I would also recommend is government versus academia collaborations. Again, India is a country where there's a lot of problems in the economics and in the government sector, public sector units, there's plenty of problems. And here the hiring happens very slowly. And any budget, approval and all that is pretty slow. And so there could be some kind of a collaboration where, there's the government list all the open source projects which they are looking to get sorted in a website or a forum, which the academic institutions across India can pick it up. And there are plenty of students at their disposal, so they can get some of these projects done education as well. So there should be a general forum where academia and industries come and list out their problems, and the universities across India can bid for it to take those problems and get it solved. That way the students will have good portfolio on their resume. So it's good for many stakeholders, and the academic professors can release these projects as research papers as well. So and the government or the industry will get their problem solved. So it's good for all the stakeholders. So yeah, there should be more discussions on these lines, thinking about how effectively we can collaborate, what are the pain points in the collaborations and all these things. Thank you so much for asking this question in this place. It'll get people thinking about these directions. Yeah, with this, I'll wind up my answer. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Usha. Maybe I'll add one more point to your line of thoughts. Maybe we have to admit that, digital adoption now with the generation and AI being a norm in all industries. I think maybe in edutech domain, not only in edutech domain, all domains, in fact, the mindset of the management has to be changed. When they're adopting AI, it has to be AI mindset. Now, with that, there will be a kind of learn, unlearn, and relearn. So if that can be adopted in any domains, probably we can have more prospects. Thank you. And maybe I can take up one more question, which is on to measure the success of AI-driven marketing initiatives. Probably this can, I think Reet can answer well on this.
Sure. What's the question?
So AI-driven marketing initiatives, like what is the success metrics? Like how do you measure the success metrics?
Well, there are quite a few initiatives that say AI can help, right? Because it's not like one particular, because a lot of initiatives. But I would think the first is the customer insights, right? The the more insightful, the more structured it is, that is a clear matrix, because then we can have very targeted marketing campaigns. So in marketing, if you see, our lead generation and marketing campaigns have a very have the matrix which are well defined. So I think that is the first step. That is the biggest thing that we can measure. So if you have good customer insights, if your predictive analytics are going right in your campaigns, that is the first thing that you could really measure. Again, the chatbots, you will see an upstick in the customer satisfaction. That could be another one for, say, a chatbot kind of an AI implementation. Then ad spend optimization, again coming back to marketing, right? The marketing budget, how effective is it become? So earlier, if the cost per lead is this to what it is today, right, and the quality of the leads. So I think that becomes a big thing. And in the content generation, is it improving our visibility? Everything that is AI generated, is it driving organic traffic to our website? That is another one. And of course, this usual, the lead scoring and sentiment analysis, that's another thing that can be easily measured. For example, what is the sentiment? Is it going up? Is it going down? So that could also be a clear indication of the AI-driven tools that we could use. So I think there are quite a few, because the initiatives are so many, but these are the few that you could just clearly measure.
Thanks, Reet, for wonderful insights on the marketing and sales domain. And to conclude this, I would ask Anjali and Ramya to take it over from here. And thanks, panel and the audience, for having a wonderful day over Saturday, spending time with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was a great session, and I think all of us will have some food for thought and a lot to ponder upon after this session. I would like to express our gratitude to all the speakers for sharing their time and expertise with us today and giving us a glimpse of an AI-driven future, sharing their insights, experiences, and predictions on how AI is being applied and the profound changes it is bringing about.
We are also thankful to you for joining this important discussion. Your participation is vital as we collectively explore the possibilities, responsibilities, and challenges that come with integration of AI into the society. I hope we continue to be a part of many more such sessions in the future. Concluding the successful webinar, I would like to leave you with a thought quoted from Tim Cook. What all of us have to do is to make sure we are using AI in a way that is for the benefit of humanity, not to the detriment of humanity. I hope you had as much fun attending this webinar as we had hosting it. We'll be taking your leave now, but please keep an eye out for all our follow-up materials and information about future events. We hope to see you soon again at our next webinar. And until we meet next time, thank you everyone. Have a very good day.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Though I think thank you audience for extended session on the webinar. And also I would ask Anjali to just conclude once again.
Okay, so thank you everyone once again for sticking by and being a part of this extended session. And thank you, Sri Lakshmi, even though like you were late, but thank you for the insightful thoughts. I think we were very it was very thought provoking, and we will definitely have some things to take away and ponder upon after we leave the session. So before we leave you, we would like to ask everyone to reach out to us with any feedback or suggestion for future sessions. This will only help us come up with more wonderful sessions. So thank you, everyone. I think you have a very nice day and a very nice weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.